Hey, black women, I just wanted to submit something for thought, okay? Not saying that I'm either pro or against it, but all right, I was watching a Chrissy video where she was culminating the end part of 23 into 24 and going over the last sensational stories of YouTube thus far, right? So there was a part where someone sent in a video of little girls doing pole dancing, not as a sexual or exotic dancer training, but as exercise and the genre, right? So as I was listening to this, all I could hear was the traditional slave created stereotyping and tearing down of black women about their bodies created and born from the legends of the Hottentotten, Sweet Thing, the Fast Girl, the Jezebel, and etc., right? Now, what do we know about all of these stereotypes? And especially when they concern and are directed and targeted at black women. That they're all based out of trying to, from slavery, give justification and justify and confirm the promiscuity of all black women just because we have bodies that are shaped more abundantly than other women and we look differently than other women, most specifically white women. So while I was listening to this video, right, I wanted to ask her and all the other women that had a problem with the image, or as she put it, the optics of the little girls and the twerking and everything else they always go to as a default. I wanted to ask them, would you and do you feel the same way about little white girls that do this? Because I don't know if they know it or not, but this has already become, pole dancing has already become a national competition, and also becoming a worldwide thing in countries that accept it, right? And do you know who are the main women in the pole dance competition? They're not black women. They're white women of all kinds, right? The pole dancing has become, with white women and all the other women of the world who are doing this on a competition level, them and their daughters, right? It is an extension of like the trapeze women, the ring women, the women that wind themselves up in the long, I'm gonna just say curtains because I don't know what it's exactly called. When you ever see the women who are extended from the ceiling in the very long tapestry, where they're twisting their bodies around and etc., winding, flipping, and having such a, a beautiful aerial dance, right? That's what this is. These black women are basically copying off of those women who are doing that already for a living, right? So I was just wondering, like, do they have the same opinion of those women, or is all this, it's hot, I'm cooking, I'm sorry. Or is it just for black women, all this vitriol and all of this? Anytime a black woman shows any type of interest in anything athletic that may be deemed sexual, she's automatically the victim. She's automatically the fucked up person, the fucked up mother who's never thinking about how that pervert is going to look at her child and how she's a fucked up mother for trying to put those perverse ideas in that child's mind. Like, do they ever not think that way? Why is it always the blame being cast on black women when we do anything like every other woman, right? Is it, it's because we have always been overly sexualized in this society from slavery to present. Black males do it to us, white males do it to white women, and now black women. So I just got to suggest to black women on a whole, stop coming down on each other over things that are naturally part of who we are. We're not white women. Twerking is a part of who we are as a black people, as a black people, as a black woman of black people. It's part of our culture. It is so African, it's not even funny. Okay? Me being a woman from Louisiana, and my mother's being from women who descend directly from African women, we do dances similar to twerking that come out of our hoodoo practices. Not voodoo, because there's a difference. The hoodoo with the H practices were from Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Those were the spiritual practices done by those African women passed down to us. And believe me, there's a lot of twerking going on. There's a lot of whining going on. So please stop the bullshit. As you say, stop the cap. And do yourself a favor and stop believing everything that people tell you to try to dehumanize black women and make us believe to be the most degenerate women on the face of the planet when we definitely are not. Stop victimizing us for our bodies, for the legacy of the sexual exploitation that was done to us, and understand that what you're doing is an exact extension of respectability politics that is eloquently described by a person who has the education to have this conversation properly. Sorry, Chrissy. Okay? Who wrote an entire book about this called Sister Citizen. And that is a former CNN correspondent, right? She's a former professor at several Ivy League colleges, wrote several books, and that would be Melissa Harris Perry. If you want someone who knows what they're talking about to explain the legacy of the Hottentotten and the shame and the human stain put upon black women for having curvaceous bodies that no other women group can rival, then read that book. And it will explain why every time a little girl is dancing and she's feeling the rhythm, not aware of anything sexual, because that is not children's nature. That is a pervert's nature, right? She's dancing and she's moving and etc. Her mind, her body, her spirit, and her soul are doing what they innately do, because that is who she is and where she comes from. So I would just like to say to a lot of you black women who are always so judgmental towards other black women, when especially it comes to the beauty and the art form of the movement of black women's bodies, stop fucking hating. Please stop, okay? And stop comparing yourself to another woman and what she wants to do with her body, her sexual freedom, and etc. Like, it's none of your fucking business. And if you're going to have that energy for black women, make sure you have that same fucking energy for white women, Hispanics, Asians, and everybody else who do the same fucking thing, if not more. Okay? Because if you took the time to know any fucking thing, because these other women are so fascinated with how they're not able to master the movements of black women's bodies, they have gone and they have actually created all types of leagues and competitions in America, Europe, and everywhere else, right? South America, to try to emulate the movements of black women. This goes to show you that it's not all this degenerative, nasty, disgusting shit y'all want to try to make it out to be. Black women's bodies are beautiful. And just because they're doing something with their daughters that white women are doing, and because you want to make it an issue when it's not, doesn't make it any less, if it's bad, the same amount of bad for the white women as it is for the black women. You motherfuckers are always so judgmental when it comes to black women and little black girls. But you do not have that same fucking energy for white women and their little white girls they do worse fucking shit with than little black girls and their mothers. Like, I don't hear none of you bitches yelling and screaming about these little toddlers and tiaras and all that nasty shit where they're actually running around looking like little fucking women for grown-ass niggas to judge them on how they look. I don't hear you talking shit about that. Oh, let me guess, I forgot. It's because the little girls are not black for the most part, right? Y'all need to get your shit together. All you pompous bitches on here always got something to say about every fucking body. Because you are such an elitist and thinking you're so much better than everybody else. Ain't near motherfucker out here beneath you. Not one. I wouldn't give a fuck if they working at McDonald's and living in a cardboard box. They are not beneath you. So what y'all need to do is worry about uplifting black people and put all that fucking judgment and ridicule to the side, because it's not doing any of us any good. Because no matter how much you come on here talking out of your pinch fucking nose, you still black. You still black. And ain't no white person gonna give a fuck about the difference between you and me, because we both the same to them. Even though I don't give a shit about that. But I do care about other black women tearing down other black women just to fucking do it. You need to stop. You need to grow up, and you need to understand that all that shit you guys is always talking about, selective sisterhood, is what you're doing yourself when you're talking shit about black women who are imitating things that white women are doing that were originated by black women. It's like you don't even understand what's going on. I literally, in New York City, went to a pole dancing competition, and there was no black women in it. But if you look on YouTube and you watch the pole dancing competitions, you will see that there are quite a few, like highly sought after, highly paid pole dancers, where quite a few of them are black, but there are a lot of white women and a lot of foreign women. Women who have that type of history as well as we do in their background, like the Arabic women, all the other women that do belly dancing, like the women from Turkey, the women from Argentina. There's so many women out there who have similar histories with the movement of body for women that are in those competitions. They even have another thing, which is called the coin belly roll for women, right? So that's a dance too, right? Where women dance exotically to move their stomach muscles to where they put a coin right underneath their breasts, and they roll that coin down the middle of their stomach to the beginning of their pelvis. But I bet you don't talk shit about that, because that's mostly done by European women and other women from Africa and Eurasian women who have had that become part of their culture. But I guess as soon as black women start doing it, then y'all start talking about how disgusting it is and how the optics are terrible because the little black girls are going to do it and guys are going to be looking at them. Well, people are doing that in other parts of the world where guys are already looking at little girls who do that, who are being raised up and taught to do that. So let's have a little less fucking critique and criticism always about every and any fucking thing black women do, because you sound like the manosphere dudes and you sound like those white overseers and white guys of America, those founding fathers that created all of this shit when they put Sarah Bartman in a fucking cage like she was an animal and paraded her around all of Europe and then brought her back to America and went to other parts of the world to show off the circumference of her ass because white women didn't have asses. And the origination of why Nina Simone had to make the song for the four women, to explain furthermore how the criticism and degradation of black women in this country by white America is this legacy of slavery that is American, just as American pie, right? Like, you guys need to cut the bullshit. Or just come out and honestly say it. There's nothing a black woman could do that I'm just not going to talk shit about because I just don't like black women, even though I'm one myself. And give it a fucking rest. Like, oh, that shit is so annoying. Like, if you know, honestly, if you lived in New York City, you wouldn't believe the kind of shit these white women do down here for so-called exercise and curricular activity, and they got their kids doing it too. Pole dancing has been around a long fucking time, okay? And these white people had their daughters in that shit. Now it's something that black women are starting to catch up with. This has probably been around now for 10 years or more. And this chick is talking about this shit where those little girls who started out doing that a decade ago, they're some of the women now that are touring the world and this nation in those competitions I spoke to you about. Oh my God. The hate for black women is so unreal. It is crazy. And it just don't make no fucking sense how it comes from other black women who are mostly coming from a place of fucking hate and jealousy. Envy to the goddamn definition. It just don't make no sense. It's stupid. It is so stupid. It's crazy. A little black girl is a little black girl. She is not sexualized until a dysfunctional, sick, perverted adult sexualizes her or adultifies her. Because no matter what she's doing in life, she's still a child. Still a fucking child. But I forget, she's not allowed to be a child because she's not white. Ain't that right? Yeah, that's what it is.